Hope your Lenten journey is going on well. Some of you would have kept up to your Lenten penances. Some of you would struggle. Whatever it is, do not make Lenten journey a struggle or a pain. Let it be something of tremendous love for Jesus, tremendous love for God, as Moses was. And that is our first reading today. Lent week, Sunday, third week of Lent. My reflection is purely on the first reading of Moses. Interesting thing to do here is to see 3 points. The first point is, my dear friends, is precisely this. Moses is called by God at this moment for a mission. His identity is being now reaffirmed. He was an Egyptian by adoption. Yes, you know the story? He was an Egyptian by adoption. He was a Midianite by choice or by marriage, however you want to call. But by birth, he is a Hebrew. And therefore, when he began his ministry of trying to save his own people, it landed in a failure. He says, okay, I'm done with it, I'm going. But God was waiting for him to be formed. How? When he is in Jethro, with his father-in-law Jethro, tends this flock. He is a shepherd. As a shepherd, when he is shepherding, God calls Moses to him. Because as a shepherd, there are many connotations why shepherd in the Old Testament has got such powerful connotations. Shepherd means one who has power, one who has authority, but one who has tremendous compassion. But one who is also humble and obedient and poor. Because most of the time shepherds are, practically all the time, shepherds don't own the flock. It is somebody else's flock. They are poor. They only take the flock from the shepherd owner, from the sheep owner, for the herds owner, bring them, take them to the pasture and take it back. They don't own it. And therefore here Moses is tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro. He's a shepherd. And God calls him when he was shepherding his ordinary cows or sheep or however you want to call it. When he's shepherding, God calls him. And therefore, Moses goes back to search for God. And therefore, when Moses goes, he's asking about the burning bush. He's not asking the question about who am I supposed to say who you are, God. It is not curiosity, or it is not to get knowledge. Or it is not even to say, oh, I have God with me, that arrogance. No, sir. It was basically an intimacy, a relationship that he wants. Who are you? God, I want to know who you are. I want to see you more clearly. And that is why you will find that in the Old Testament, if there are two people where God is very close, so to speak, is with Moses and David. And Moses, God will say, God speaks to Moses face to face. And therefore, Moses' question about God, who he is God's identity, so to speak, is not out of curiosity or knowledge. It is out of deep sense of belonging and love for God. God called him when he was shepherding. When did God call you? When did God call you? There was a call in your life, my friend. There was a call in your life. Someday, somewhere, someplace. Maybe you've journeyed away for long. What is that call that God is calling you? When you listen to the sermon this weekend, go back to that call. Our first call God has given you. And most of the time you'll find God would call us when we're about to doing our work in amidst our what we're doing. So the work we are doing is very crucial in what God has called us. And secondly, when we come to God, is our desire to know God because of knowledge or information, or is it a deep desire to be with God all the time? Let Moses take you journeying towards the promised land, because entering the promised land is next week. with Joshua. Right now, stay with Moses in the flock with the shepherd, Jesus, but the shepherd in Moses, who has called him not as Egyptian, not as a Midianite, but as Hebrew his own nature was. What is your nature? What is your call? God bless.